weights, we present the Platinum Kid Adil Anwar. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the grey trunks trimmed with blue and yellow, weighed in at 10 stone, 6 pounds 4 ounces per 23, fight record 22 wins, 7 inside the scheduled distance and just 1 defeat. Ladies and gentlemen, from Corn, where he is known as the Pain, Shayne Singleton! 10 rounds of boxing for the vacant WBC International Silver Welterweight Championship.
Okay, boys, you've had your instructions in the dressing room. Remember, obey my commands at all time. Defend yourselves at all time. God bless. Touch gloves. Let's do it.
Well, good opportunity this for Shayne Singleton to get himself right back into the mix at welterweight. We saw him challenging for this belt last March when he lost to Sam Eggington. He was down 3 times and was stopped in 5 that night. Says he's learned a lot from that experience. What can he do here against a short-notice sub in Adil Anwar, the man in the black with the silver trim, who at his best is capable of being a nightmare for anybody, with a very defensive, slippery, crafty style, but a man who seems to have lost his way in recent years. You get the feeling with Singleton, 26 years old, he's on the way up. Anwar, at 28, already borderline washed up. And if Anwar really does want to kickstart his career, this would be the night to do it.
Yeah, I think a lot might depend on what kind of shape Anwar is in. You know, if he didn't get a lot of notice for this, because there's a lot of movement. You know, he boxes at a good pace. He likes to control the pace. It's important for Singleton not to allow that to happen. So this is a decent matchup. A good right hand from Singleton.
Well, Mark Bateson, who looks after Anwar, said, yeah, this is a tall order, of course, coming in at 2 weeks' notice. Got to try and keep him on the end of the jab, use the skills he's got, slow Singleton down, don't get involved in a tear-up. All the sort of stuff you'd expect a peak Adil Anwar to do. And he did have a fight in March. Admittedly, it was just a one-rounder, and he was scheduled to box in a couple of weeks' time when he got the call for this one. Singleton finishing that exchange sharply. So he shouldn't be in terrible shape, and he certainly came in okay. In fact, he was a couple of pounds lighter than Singleton.
Well, they've got right down to business, which is good news. A couple of good solid punches from Singleton. So he's had the punches that you remember so far in this round. They're both just kind of trying to find the range at the moment. A lot of what Anwar's doing is out of range.
A very interesting chat with Shayne Singleton earlier this week as Singleton looks to try and land the right hand, and I just said to him, what did you learn from the Eggington fight? Because that tells you a lot. Guys who say they don't learn anything, they're in denial, they never get any better. But he said, look, since that fight I've changed my entire approach mentally to boxing. He said, I realised I've got to get my anger and my emotions under control. I used to box on emotion and got away with it. As soon as I stepped up in class I couldn't, and I've got to do better than that.
Well, he's having a good opening round here. You know, a little right hand followed with a left hook against the ropes here a few seconds ago. So that they're both really trying to gain an early advantage. They're both giving it what they've got in the first round here. But for me, Singleton has landed the better punches so far.
Caught with the combination as well. Inside the last 30 seconds of this opening round. He missed badly, he was open, and Singleton just pounced on him. Takes the full 8 on one knee.
I've been impressed by the speed of Singleton's punches, and it's that left hook again that's been causing the problems. So he just wants to settle down here.
Swung and a miss there as he tries to get him out of there inside the opening 3 minutes. Not going to happen. Anwar holds on for the bell. But Singleton, with that combination, had Anwar in a world of trouble.
Okay, come on. Okay. No, I thought was pretty shaken up by the knock attacks. He did well just to grab hold and get to the belt. Lovely left hook. Anwar really, and then he did well to show a little bit of restraint there, just to hold the follow-up right hand back. Excellent opening round from both boys, but obviously particularly Singleton.
Well, since losing a British title fight to Darren Hamilton in July 13, Adil Anwar's career has really spiraled. He's had 6 fights since then. He was outpointed by Simon Lucas. He was stopped in 2 by Chad Gaynor, and another defeat here. You think really would just add to his problems. Dale Evans dropped him and stopped him as well in that span. He really needs to just get together and regroup, but Singleton knows he can hurt him.
I think Anwar really feels he must come back with a big round here, set off in the second round with a lot of purpose in his boxing, but he doesn't want to be taking too many chances. He's been clipped too often already in that opener.
Missing again, Anwar there. And one thing you can see with Anwar, if you'd watched him 4 or 5 years ago, he was so difficult to pin down and hit. I remember, you know, before that fight against Darren Hamilton, he widely outpointed Dave Ryan, who's as tough and solid as they come. Dave was completely outboxed in that fight. I don't think I've ever seen Ryan as outboxed as he was that night. He won't thank me for saying it, but the scorecard showed that as well. He's just so difficult to pin down.
Well, Singleton's the one here, Nick, who's doing the clever stuff. Yeah. He's just sitting on the edge of range, you know, inviting Anwar to throw. Anwar, everything he's doing at the moment is out of range. And Singleton just picking his moments to come back with a counter, so he's putting a fair bit of thought into what he's doing. I think Anwar come up planning a big round. And
he got there. Anwar got through. And Singleton felt that. As Anwar really is going for it here. I think he must know at 2 weeks' notice there's no way he's going to grind out a decision here over 10 rounds. And he is putting everything into this second session here. And he hurt Singleton. Nice little body work, bit of body work there from Anwar as well.
Yeah, nice little combination there, 2-punch combination. He's finding the range now.
Now it's Singleton's turn to just refocus. Maybe this isn't going to be as easy a night as he was thinking it might be with a short notice sub. And Anwar has responded well to that knockdown.
Yeah, a lot of missing from both boys in the second round here, but Anwar did have a good little burst there. Exchanging jabs there.
Yeah, if Anwar can establish that jab, get Singleton on the end of it, he could have a lot of success here. But it's certainly a much better round for the Leeds man.
Landing the better shots.
Seconds out, round 3.
Round 3 then of this 10-rounder. Little welterweight tussle. Domestic scene, of course, dominated by Amir Khan. Best of luck to him against Saul Alvarez and Kell Brook. Frankie Gavin looking to get his career back on track. Bradley Skeet, the British champion. Sam Eggington looking to rebuild as well. And then there's a gaggle of prospects, the likes of Dale Evans, Larry Akondayo, and the winner of this one bubbling up just under the surface. Solid right hand landing there from Singleton.
And a follow-up left hook as well, but Anwar seems to have warmed to the task. He took those well.
And did a great job defensively there, Anwar, of making Singleton swing and miss, but he didn't miss with that straight left. And Anwar was shaken by it.
It's that left hook Anwar walked onto a few times in the opening round, and it's happened again. See, I think he's been more aggressive tonight, Anwar, than he usually is, so obviously it's not his natural style. He's going to make some mistakes, and he's been punished for them, but a real sharp looking left hook from Singleton.
Yeah, a nice double jab in there from Singleton as well. And I'm sure, I said this earlier, Jim, I'm sure Anwar's thinking, well, I'm not going to nick a decision here over 10. I've got to go for broke in this one, which is why he's taking some risks, and why it's a much better fight than I think some people were expecting as well.
I think he must be in decent shape, Nick. I don't think he would take this fight you know, if he wasn't in some kind of shape. And he's looking good, but at times he's struggling with the range, and usually it's his opponents who do that. So Singleton doing well, putting punches together, which is important against Anwar. He's just trying to repeat the solid shots there, Singleton.
Yeah, it's not been easy the last few months for Singleton. He's had fights fall down on him. He was supposed to box Jamie Robinson at first. That went away. They offered it to Dale Evans, who decided it was too short notice. And so Anwar stepped in. He said, well, look, sparring's just been difficult. He's been doing most of his work with his stablemate, Rick Goddings.
Well, so far, this has been a better round for Singleton.
But Anwar making this competitive, and as you say, he's in shape because he had that fight earlier, about 4 weeks ago. He was down for another one in a couple of weeks. So it's not like he's horrendously out of shape, and it shows. And Singleton's having to think his way through this one.
Yeah, he maybe feels he's done enough to win the round, just to be cagey for the last few seconds. I reckon he has anyway. Again, not quite finding the range for his work.
Round 4 then of this 10-rounder. That's a little bit too much Vaseline there for Victor Loughlin's liking. Well, it's been a good little scrap so far. Anwar looks to try and set the fast pace inside the first few seconds of this 4th round. Recovered very well from that early knockdown. And just trying to bully Anwar against the ropes here, Singleton. Anwar getting out of range, though. That's his trademark. As Singleton looked for the combination, Anwar was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, I think he's trying to use his physical strength there, Singleton. They're both struggling with the range, at long range. No one really dictating with the jab. Good right hand, a bit of a swing from Anwar.
Made to miss again, but then eventually, I guess, the advantage of throwing the 3-punch combination. The first 2 miss, but the 3rd one gets through, and blood around the face of Shayne Singleton now.
Yeah, a couple of kind of clumsy attacks from Singleton, and he's walked onto shots, and again.
And Anwar launching his attack, then getting out of range. And actually settling down and finding some rhythm here, Anwar.
Yeah, I think Singleton needs to refocus a little bit. He seems to be setting himself for the big punches, whereas Anwar is a little bit more relaxed.
Well, he's taking some solid shots, Anwar. He keeps coming back, doesn't he? I think he's really settled well into this now. He's certainly the one that's looking the more comfortable of the 2 in there. Singleton's looking like he's forcing it and reaching a little bit.
Yeah, and he's not initiating enough, Singleton. Anwar's always quite happy to let the first punches go. Just try to take the initiative.
Well, he's in a bit of a tricky place here, Shayne Singleton. He can't afford just to let Anwar box this at his own pace. And that's what's happening at the moment. The Leeds man just looking really comfortable, up on his toes, moving well, launching his attacks, slipping shots, and threatening to turn the clock back here on Shayne Singleton.
Now Singleton struggling to land cleanly.
As has recognised that, hang on, this is a bit more competitive than a lot of us were expecting, especially after that knockdown in the first round. He has not got this in the bag, Singleton, far from it. Anwar has settled, and if he can put another couple of decent rounds together, this fight will be very interesting indeed.
I think Singleton has to commit himself a little bit more with the jab. You know, he's kind of shooting it out, but he's not close enough. He's going to have to commit himself. I mean, this is Anwar's game now, boxing at long range, you know, getting the punches in and getting himself back out again. This is the way he's more comfortable in this style. He's not as aggressive as he was earlier. A lot out of range from both boys.
Yeah, but as you say, Jim, Anwar won't mind this. This is his game. Yeah, a little sway away and a nod as if to say, I've got your number here, sunshine. He's growing in confidence. Missing there as Singleton does a nice job defensively. But it's become, tempo-wise, the kind of fight that Anwar would want it to be. Nice little raid there and making Singleton miss with the counter.
Yeah, and his jab's working. That's the three-punch combination. That's confident now. That's confidence.
Well, the one thing Singleton has got to do, and he knows this, is keep his head. He said that's the lesson he learned after the Sam Eggington fight. He can't let the red mist descend here. He's got to stay focused. Still a long, long way to go in this one, but the last round was a good one for Anwar. This one hasn't been too bad for him either. Yeah,
he's been clever in this round. Clever. Just picking his moments, you know, drawing mistakes. There's the jab working well.
Singleton's still trying to get his jab established, but he's just out of range with a lot of them. Anwar's doing a nice job with distance here.
See, he's not able to pin Anwar down. You need to step across, try to manoeuvre Anwar. You can't allow him to box the way he wants to box, keep circling. So Singleton's struggling a little bit at the moment to get himself into punching range.
Even when he does get up close, Singleton not really able to do much because Anwar's got him tied up. Well, we're coming up to halfway, Jim, and this is in the balance.
Yeah, well, I have them level after this round because of the knockdown. That was the 10-8 round. But if this continues, I have it 3 rounds to 2 for Anwar. Singleton beginning to struggle.
And that's after this.
Seconds out.
You can't separate them.
No, I think Anwar is the one whose boxing has improved. He's not quite as aggressive as he was earlier, and that's not his style. So this is more the kind of boxing that he prefers.
Well, he's had his issues in his personal life as well, Adil Anwar, that coincided with that defeat to Darren Hamilton when his professional career started to spiral out of control, and a lot of those have settled down now. And if he can pull out a win here, he really will be back in business. He's pouring at his left eye. I think the heads came together there.
He also walked onto a right hand. Didn't trouble him too much, but I wonder maybe if the cup of the glove has maybe caught his eye. Good stuff again from Anwar.
Yeah.
Frustration now in Singleton's boxing. He's losing his cool.
And the interesting thing with Anwar is he was criticised early in his career for his style, and he could be very, very negative. And yeah, there is that damage to the left eye. He's just cut underneath it, but there's been nothing negative and defensive about him in this fight. He's been coming to get the job done. Singleton loading up a little bit there.
Well, this round's still up for grabs. There's no one really produced any real clean stuff as yet. good shot.
Yeah,
good shot from Singleton.
That's what he needed. It's been a while since he's landed a really good, clean shot, Shayne Singleton.
See, I think he's trying to set up single shots, and that's not what you want to do against Anwar. He wants to let some punches go. Don't try to be so precise. He's working with the left hook there. Singleton, this is a little bit better than he's been doing.
And you have to remember that Anwar has put in a big workload in the last 2 or 3 rounds, and if conditioning is an issue, maybe he's starting to feel it. Maybe he's starting to slow. And if he is, Singleton will be looking to capitalise on that. Getting through again, starting to find his range again here, Singleton.
Well, he's putting punches out in twos now. I think he was trying to set up single shots, so that better chance of catching Anwar with 2s and 3s. So certainly he's improved in this round. Not a lot to split them, but Singleton maybe just produced a better start. Left hook again, they both exchange punches there. Anwar's really fired up, isn't he?
He is, because just as I wondered if he might be starting to fade a little bit, he finished that round strongly, the Leeds man. Well, as you say, it's another very close round. Just.
With the better quality punches like that. But a few really close rounds in this one, and you can't take anything for granted. And look how fired up Anwar is. He really is up for this. He wants to win this.
Corners 10 seconds. Second out, round 7.
Well, round 7 of this 10-rounder. I remember talking to Mark Bateson, Anwar's trainer, about this fight, and he said, look, the thing with Adil is he'll go in with anybody and he'll think he can beat anybody. He said, but this will be a tall order for him to come in here against an opponent like Shayne Singleton on short notice and get the job done, but he is right in this. Singleton tagged with the left hand as Anwar is right on him. And I think you have to say, Jim, this is as good as we've seen Anwar in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, certainly as aggressive as I've seen him, and it's fired up. He's stepping right in behind his punches.
Singleton loading up and missing again. And Anwar's got that look in his eye, just tempted Singleton in there, just dropped the gloves, hung the chin out, said, come on, here it is.
Yeah, this is not the style we normally expect from Anwar, showing a lot of aggression. This is as good a fight as I've seen Anwar, and this really is good stuff from him.
Well, it's got to be his best performance since that Dave Ryan win. He looked good in prize fighter, beat Tyrone Nurse, who's gone on to win a British title. But for a guy that's supposedly washed up on the slide and getting ready for the exit, Anwar has really turned things around here. And all this on the back of a knockdown in the first round.
Yeah, well, I thought Singleton pulled himself together in the previous round, but he cannot pin Anwar down in this round. He hasn't really produced too much in this one.
And he's been made to miss a lot, hasn't he?
And there's a kind of strut about the Anwar's boxing, you know, really looking as though he fancies this.
And there's that jab. We saw that earlier, that Anwar's just getting out of range of that jab. Well, he didn't get out of range of that right hand, but that's a rare success here in round 7 for Shayne Singleton. Again, there's the jab that's just going nowhere. Left hook finished the job there for Singleton. Nice Nice little right hand there in that exchange from Anwar. On the bell, and they'll have to go back to work on that left eye, which was damaged in the previous round. Doesn't seem to be too bad.
Yeah.
His reputation really made when he just jeopardised his entire career when he chased after those burglars who were attempting to break into a neighbour's house. Nobody was sure if he'd box again. Here he is, unlucky in his first fight against Darlis Perez. Made sure with that wonderful body shot in the rematch. And here he is walking into the Manchester Arena for what promises to be a very testing defence against Ismael Moroso, the danger man who ended the career of Kevin Mitchell, who is here ringside tonight as well. Let's get back to this welterweight affair here. Round 8, Shayne Singleton in the grey trunks and the blue trim against Adil Anwar, the late sub, the man whose career for the last 3 years has been going south, but who is right in this and looks like he might be capable of springing a surprise if his conditioning will hold up through the 10 rounds.
Well, I haven't seen any signs of him struggling or towards the end of rounds grabbing hold and surviving. That's usually the signs. Quite the opposite. He's finishing the round strongly. He's keeping the pace.
He was round about round 4, Jimmy. Suddenly thought, I could slip into a groove here. He got comfortable. We saw him moving so well. And that's been the story of the fight ever since. And it's Singleton that's been struggling and forcing himself. And again, all those jabs that Singleton's thrown that have fallen short of the target. Said it before, Anwar's a very good judge of range when he's really on his game. Oh, Singleton got it there though with the right hand. Oh, he needed that. Now, can Anwar recover for a second time? A look at his corner.
He's shaken up.
Yeah, he felt that. And he's got a long way to go. Half the round left. Now, Singleton's just got to measure him up here. And it's stopped. Victor Loughlin has seen enough. Singleton, in a fight that was threatening to get away from him, has uncorked a brilliant right hand, and Anwar is still in trouble. Well, that stoppage was absolutely spot on because it was a heavy one, and he's still not sure where he is.
Well, full credit to Singleton because he seemed to be struggling for a couple of rounds, but he suddenly switched back on to the type of boxing we're seeing from him in the early rounds, where he was timing the right hand perfectly as Anwar was charging forward. Anwar a lot more aggressive tonight than I've ever seen him before, so obviously you're going to make some mistakes, and then when you're caught with such a solid punch at this stage in such a hard fight, I mean that fight really was fought at a pace. You don't have the same punch resistance or the recovery powers, and that's pretty much what happened. Victor Loughlin had no choice but to step in quickly, and you can see how badly Anwar's legs were even 10 seconds after the count. So a terrific turnaround. That was a beautiful punch. That's the way he was timing his punches in the earlier rounds. The charges of Anwar, he was catching them perfectly with the left hook and the right hand. And as I say, at this stage in such a hard fight, it's difficult to throw the effects of that. You're tiring, you're struggling, and a real solid shot has just taken everything away from you, and that was the story with Anwar. Just could not recover from that.
Yeah, it was a stunning right hook, wasn't it? Absolutely perfectly delivered, with Anwar walking onto it as well. And I'm sure there were some people who thought, oh, Victor Loughlin's jumped in too early here, but absolutely not as we look at it again, because Anwar is still on his stool. Now, as we look at the replays, Anwar is standing up. But that took everything away from Anwar.
Look at him now, Nick. Look at him walking here.
Look at the legs.
All over the place he was. No, that was a good stoppage.
Absolutely. Yeah, there were hard shots coming in from Singleton afterwards, and Victor Loughlin said that's enough of that. Well, there were moments of trouble there for Shayne Singleton, but he kept his boxing together. Talking about learning the lessons from a previous defeat, he kept his emotions under control, waited for his moment, and when he took it, he was ruthless. terrific, stunning finish from Shayne Singleton.
Ladies and gentlemen, timekeeper Tony Dunkley has recorded a time of 1 minute and 31 seconds of the 8th round. Referee Victor Lachlan has stopped this contest with Anwar in no position to continue. Therefore, your winner and the new WBC International Silver Welterweight Champion from Cornwall, Lancashire, Shayne "The Pain" Singleton!
A night to remember this for Shayne Singleton. Came through one or two worrying moments there to uncork a brilliant